what it's like to have cervical cancer. Well, it's definitely not a good thing to hear that you have, but you have your first moments that you just get mad at the world and you throw some things around, and then you eventually get over it, and then you realize that you're going to press through.
How did you find out?
I actually was diagnosed when I was pregnant with my little girl Caroline. My results initially came back a little bit off, and my OB thought that it was probably just because of pregnancy. So what she did was she decided to do a little bit of extra testing, and she said, no worries, everything's going to come back fine, but because it's just because of your pregnancy. And then when it didn't, and I was about 15 or 16 weeks along, and I did get the diagnosis and for the first time heard the words, you have cancer. It was a pretty stagnating comment because, you're pregnant and you're supposed to be so happy that you have a child, and there was just nothing that we could do about it. But obviously I was going to put her needs and wants above mine, so we weren't able to even think or talk about it. So I really just kind of put it out of my brain until after I had Caroline last April.
How did it change affect your life?
It's made me live life a lot fuller, I think. I think I celebrate a whole lot more. I take a whole lot more selfies. I do a whole lot more silly things. I embrace moments a lot more. I think I just love a lot more than I did before because I see what my life could have been and how lucky I am.
What does the world need to know about you?
What the world needs to know about me is that I may have been knocked down, but I didn't let it knock me out forever. And I feel like it's important to tell the story of cervical cancer because it's one that I think needs to be had in a lot more places and a lot younger in people's lives, because it's something that you could have gotten when you were 12 or 13 years old, and you would never know until something happens when you're in your 30s like I was. So it needs to be something that is talked about a whole lot more.
So what treatment do you undertake?
Actually, I was incredibly lucky thus far. When I found out I had cervical cancer, like I said, we had to wait until I had Caroline, and then 6 weeks after having Caroline, I underwent my first surgery where they just kind of took a scope and tried to figure out where we were. And so then we went ahead and proactively made the decision for me to undergo a complete hysterectomy. So I did that this past summer, and then after that, after 6 weeks after that, I had one extra surgery. And then I just went back to my oncologist in the end of January, and he said that he feels 95% certain that my cancer is gone and that I will never have to undergo any further treatment. But I will continue to follow up with him every 6 months for about 3 more years, just to check.
What does your future look like?
My future is bright. I mean, I have a beautiful job where I get to make a real difference in the world. I have 2 beautiful children. I have a husband that loves me. So my future is bright.
So that's it.
Rock and roll!